No.
All right, so I just want to warn you. Steve said he was not ready this morning,
I don't think there's been a morning that I have been ready.
so y'all are in for a great show because it's going to be business as usual. Except you only get to 9:30 today.
Son of a.
I know all you that expected 2 hours this morning, you start crying now. The sadness that's going to just infiltrate your whole day and ruin your mood. I apologize in advance
It's too late.
that you get 30 minutes less of us. Um, so hopefully we'll have some new folks because I have figured out the 4 things you can do to increase your sales. It's going to be awesome.
All four of them?
All 4 of them. Okay, well I should say 4 categories. There's a lot more to it
Oh,
than 4. Sorry about that. If you were looking
okay.
for a simple fix, but I broke it down into 4 categories so you can remember it. That was the best thing. Uh, hey, hey, Tamara, good morning. Uh, and I want you to know, in my infinite wisdom, so at 3:30 this morning, I woke up because I was hot. Freaking Phoebe was laying on my leg, so I couldn't turn over. Poison ivy started itching. I'm like, well, shit, I'm going to the couch. So I went to the couch, and 5:30, I hear, that if I go to the couch, okay, not the couch, but we had the reclining love seats. So sitting in the reclining love seat, um, I put the heat blanket on. As soon as I grabbed the heat blanket, even though I was hot in there, I was not hot in the living room because you sit down on the leather couch. It's amazing how your half naked ass body is cold in a leather couch. So, and Phoebe comes and lays on top of me, and then here comes Franklin. So now the same 2 dogs that were making me hot are now at 3:30 in the morning laying on top of me again. Uh, 5:30 rolls around, and I only know it was 5:30 because I looked at my phone as I hear all this noise and a coffee maker and all the lights come on. Oh, I'm like, I thought you were still in bed. I'm like, okay, I was on the couch, but thanks. So at 5:30, I was woken awake by all that again, and so I've made some notes for this show. So that's what you get: sleep deprived, woken up by wife, dogs twice.
I, on the other hand, had a very nice night's sleep. So,
So I'm trying some different stuff. So the more, what's the guy's name? I've been listening to this guy's podcast. I know y'all want another podcast I listen to. Library. This is most of you have probably seen him. He's a doctor, Dr. Huberman. Most of you, everybody recognize Dr. Huberman.
not familiar.
So he was talking about. He had one of the guests on that was talking about dopamine and other things, and he says I'm a self-admitted caffeineaholic, but one of the things that I'm trying a little less sleep because it seems like if I sleep under 6 hours, I feel terrible all day. If I sleep 6 hours, I'm pretty good. Over 6 hours, I'm still tired in the day, like I slept too much. And they were talking about how to help with how many, everybody in the chat, we got with 34 this morning. Good morning. Good morning. Um, how many of you had that afternoon crash? Tired, caffeine from the mornings wore off, all that stuff. Um, so one of the things he suggested was, when you start your mornings, your body normally starts all its systems. Imagine that your body automatically, it's time for you to get up, your body starts starting all your systems and all that stuff. And he talked about all the different systems. It's a 3-hour podcast I listened to while I was carrying on in here. But he said the one thing you can do to help not have the afternoon crash is if you delay caffeine for the first hour and a half of your day.
What?
He said if you delay caffeine for the first hour and a half, wake up and let your body do its normal processes and that kind of stuff. For some people, it takes a little bit getting used to. Um, he's like, drink water first thing in the morning. Get your body to rehydrate again. But if you can wait and then start your caffeine, the way your body and the systems work. And so I've been trying it for the last few days, and it actually has I'm 3 days in a row with no afternoon just crash. So
I went totally coffeeless, but I still got the crash. So I'm not sure if that would work for me. But I'll try it.
it was just an interesting theory. He told you all the stuff how it works and everything. I don't pretend to be that smart. So Jacob says he can confirm waiting to 90 minutes for caffeine. Um,
I can do without caffeine, although that's my main drink. But when I
so
did without it, I still got the crash. So
okay, so the other thing he talked about too was for those of you who struggle, like there are a lot of people who struggle to get up first thing in the morning, and people go, I'm just not a morning person. One of the things he talked about, and I know this is not the show, but the one thing I like about the reseller report is I try to talk to you about the things I learned. Maybe it can benefit everybody but Tom. I say Tom there. Good morning. You're too old for any of this, Tom. So you just keep carrying on.
no benefits.
It's just lost my whole train of thought. Holy crap! What's the worst thing you can do in the morning? How many of you hit? Just to show in the chat, how many people hit the snooze whenever you have to wake up with an alarm and you hit the snooze button? And I'll wait for a minute to see how many people, how many of you great 54 folks use a snooze button every morning.
This morning I actually only hit it 3 times. So normally I hit it 4 or 5. But I set it an hour ahead of when I want to get up.
So vintage memories, no snooze. Lag, are you just pulling my leg in?
Legs on a permanent snooze, I think.
Okay, so if you hit the snooze button, are you a person that struggles to get up every day? He explained the reason why you shouldn't. I'm the same way. I get up for the alarm. I wanted to get up today at 6. Joni woke me up at 5:30, but I had already woken up, started stirring a little bit before she woke me up. I'm one of those weird people that if I say I need to get up, like Harlan and I do yard sales every Friday and Saturday. I set the alarm, but I wake up before it every time, usually about 5 or 10 minutes. The worst thing you can do is hit the snooze. It's because the way your body works. And he explained to it that when you hit the snooze and go back to sleep for those 9 minutes, most of them are 9 minutes, your body goes into it starts another sleep cycle. A sleep cycle lasts an hour, generally an hour each cycle, because you have 5 or 6 a night. So it starts an hour sleep cycle. So when you wake up in 9 minutes, your body, that's why it's worse because I've hit snooze before in my earlier life. That's why you feel worse waking up the second time, the third time until you finally like, oh my God, I got to get up. It's because your body is in a sleep. He said that once you get up and are moving around and you've got your body trying to fight. Part of your body's in a sleep cycle, and the other part's going, oh hell, I got to get the rest of this guy. This guy's up, or gal, whichever one it is. So your body is actually fighting itself, and he said it can take up to 3 hours before you shake that sleep cycle. So
I can't disagree with that because it takes me about 3 hours to be fully functional.
That's the reason why. It's very interesting. This guy is Dr. Huberman. I don't know him from Adam's House Cat. I've just seen him a lot. So I started listening, and he has some interesting guests. He brings some really smart, way crazy smart people on there to talk about this.
My wife, on the other hand, she gets up out of bed never before the alarm, and she's fine. She's right away. She's good.
Well, that it's very interesting.
And she doesn't drink coffee right away either. If I'm right, I bet you if I ask her, she doesn't drink coffee first thing in the morning because I know she does her morning routine, her workouts and things.
So that's why I still have coffee this morning. I only drink usually 1 cup, maybe if I drink 1 cup. I got
Lag, you ain't getting my phone number.
So it was 7. It was after 7 before I grabbed it, so I'd been up a couple hours.
I might try. The snooze button's going to be a hard one because that's a habit that I've had my entire life.
So how do you beat the snooze button? Move the alarm clock. Force yourself to get up and turn it off.
I've done that in the past. Yeah, I've done that in the past.
But it's just interesting. You want to. I'm watching things and trying to learn. I'm generally not a morning person, but I've been trying to get up. I'll sleep till noon if you let me. So I've been trying to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, absolute latest. There's the stuff on iPhone that I put the sleep cycle in it, and you know, it tells me, it reminds me every night. You know, your bedtime's 10:30. That's what I set for in there. You know, start 45 minutes beforehand, start winding down, which is a good thought. Uh, but it's because if you can, if the whole deal about, you know, okay, number one, let me pull up my notes. And the number, uh, you can change four things to increase sales. You can change you can change what, where, and how. Those are your four things. And so, how do you work on you? Um, you know, most people will think it's knowledge, it's skills, but also it's performance of, you know, we all have 24 hours in a day, and if you're working 8 to 10 hours, some 12, 14, you can work more, you can, but can you be more effective in those work times, and can you eliminate the sleep? And so that's what I've been, um to the last 3 or 4 days. I have only slept 6 hours, and I have felt really good. I've had no naps, which is, you know, hell, I'm old. I just turned 54. I'm old. I'm supposed to take naps. uh uh yeah, it's not Franklin that tells me, Anissa, you have picked the wrong dog. Uh, Harlan, as Harlan, after some of the shows, there'll be hangouts and stuff, and it's Phoebe. Phoebe starts coming about 8 o'clock every 15 minutes. We'll sit here and whine wherever I'm sitting. It's Phoebe who tells me it's time to go to bed, not Franklin. Franklin don't care. Franklin is happy-go-lucky. He don't care. Franklin don't have any cares in the world. Phoebe, on the other hand, um, start telling me it's she wants to go to bed. I have to go to bed.
I have a cat that's the opposite. It wakes me up in the morning only because it wants the entire bed to
I
itself.
think the wrong guy's here. I got to move a cart.
Oh, do I got to keep them company? Oh no, Mr. Sadie's sleeping better without Bud Light. Yeah. I'm very quiet. No, I just not very talkative this morning, Brian.
So that's the how to change you. You know, I challenge. So, you know, normally I don't get a ton of feedback. So some of you guys in the chat now, we're at 65. Try some of these things. See if changing the alarm clock works. See if delaying caffeine it works. It just, so how do you change you? You know, we can talk about, you know, and I think that's an important part. Remember, what's the most important part of your business? Most of you are like me. You know, you don't have employees. You're everything. You know, I like to talk about, you do the high level thinking, you do the grunt work, you do the sourcing, you do it all. And so, to the better performing, the better the main engine of your business, which is you, can perform, uh, the more effective you can be. So that's
When you change the coffee thing, the coffee routine, did that have an immediate effect or
the second day.
second
First day
day?
was kind of, second day, you noticed, hey, wait a minute.
Because that's the easiest change I think for me to make. I don't require coffee in the morning. I just like it. It's always been there.
But you still get
So
it. I just drank my coffee, and I still enjoy a
yeah.
cup of coffee.
So I want to start trying that, and it'll be easy for me because I'm out on the road driving. I don't have to,
It'll delay carbs and sugars for 90 minutes. That's correct, Jacob.
We talked yesterday about changing my particular diet because I'm not overeating. I eat. I don't even actually eat that much, but the weight is just piling on. I'm getting heavy, heavy, heavy. And yesterday we went to a funeral, and they have, how they have a meal afterwards, and I felt so bloated, and I barely ate anything. I'm like, okay, it's time for a change here. So this is going to play into that as well.
The one thing that really I think about a lot. So I've put back on 4 or 5 pounds this week. or maybe 4 pounds. I'm taking steroids for this damn poison ivy. I got it on my arm, I got it on my neck, if y'all hadn't seen, and I got it on my in my groin area. So
Okay, that was too much information.
evidently I had some oil on my hands or whatever, and I got up in the middle of the night
Uh-huh.
to the restroom.
Sure.
Yeah,
Whatever. That's what you can tell everybody.
yeah. So that was terrible. So taking prednisone, I've noticed like I've eaten a little bit more, not a ton more, but it's I'm probably holding fluids too. That's probably the big thing. Um, but it's look at I'm 54 years old. Start looking at people 10, 15, 20 years your senior, and look at the shape they're in. The large look at the people's funerals you go to and people you see passing away, and you think, man, they're awful young. Especially in the South, the South has the whole country. You look at the South, and the South has easily the because of the dietary and other stuff, the the lowest life expectancy in the U.S. And it's food choices, it's overweight. You don't see many big 70-year-olds, and so there's a culling out between early 50s to 70s of people who are overweight, and I don't want to check out. I don't want to. Yeah, tacticals. Now that it's nice, I am going to start riding the bike. That is on my because I can only walk around the neighborhood for so much. I'll go riding and carrying on all before I'll go walking for some reason. Um, yeah, he's mowing the roof right now. That's correct. Yes, Harlan. I told you, and Trace said I was cutting the grass today.
I my elementary school librarian, who also went to our church, so I had an occasion to go to her house a few times for Bible study or something. And they had that type of house where it's in the ground and you could
Yeah.
mow the roof. Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was very cool in there. Very, they didn't need air conditioner or anything like that.
But protect your longevity. Hang around. You only get one shot at life. You might as well hang around as long as you can. You might as well, and enjoy your friends, family. Things are important. But so the number one thing you can do is for affecting your sales is to improve yourself. You know, whether that's how you function, which is very important. The second one is uh, your knowledge base. That these are things that that's why I didn't want to focus so much on knowledge base, because people, you know, you can go listen. Anybody who has started reselling yesterday and decided they're going to make a YouTube channel and become rich will tell you some of these things. But it's the reseller report. I try to talk about things that are not. This is not the typical. Increase resale, list more items. I can tell you the number one thing: list more items. And then they'll go, and then they'll have some epiphany, list more items, and then they'll quit, and everybody go, damn, that person's so smart. They just started and they're so smart. If you list shit, you're going to get shit. They never the thought never occurs to them that you can have, if you're a clothing seller and you're listing the same stuff that nobody wants, or any kind of seller, if you're listing what they don't want, it ain't going to sell. Man, that's loud.
It's not that hard, or not that loud. I mean,
I think he's done.
I think the feedback you're hearing, Tom, is actually the mower outside.
Yeah, there's a mower outside, Tom. Sorry. He just finished up. He just went that way. Did it get quiet now? Sorry. I was mowing the grass this morning, Tom. You gotta multitask.
I mean, you're so good at multitasking, we can't even see what you're doing. I mean, you're just awesome.
All right, mow the grass. So anybody can tell you, list more, and those kind of things. But they stop short. They don't talk about quality of listings. Um, and there's a let me see what 530 Scott said. Uh, yeah, your motivation. So that's what I've been working on motivation. Been working on changing what I listen to. I've been working on listening to the people who work on yourself physically. Your skills and knowledge are easy on this, but some of the other things that for you to make you better is I talk about your circle of influence and your environment. The more so think about your own weaknesses. Whenever I used to have everything inside, having everything out here and a separation, I come out here and making this a workspace makes it kind of switches your mindset. And I know when I had a warehouse that I had to go to in Wilmington, that was a game changer. To be there knowing that you're there for work. It's only like 8 minutes from the house, but still, that 8 minutes was, yeah. I did not. The place didn't smell. Did you see that? It did not fill up with smoke. Is that awesome or what? Man, that's the greatest video ever with Silverhair Stacker Todd mowing his grass, but he put too much oil in the mower, and it looked like a funeral fire and just black smoke everywhere. It looked like
the fact that he just kept going. It's it was funny, but then that took it to the next level.
It was actually Amazon prices. I did not figure out how they changed. It also was quantity. So the one thing I tell you is these third party. Amazon has they gave a drop dead date for the it was like March 18th, and then you had to use the send to Amazon feature. Well, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but that send to Amazon, I don't have to use it right now. It's still going to the old template, which is what I prefer anyway. They've had major issues with, my box content didn't go over. Box names are not the same. So in Excel list, whenever I do the box contents, it gives you the option to print a 2D label. So I'm putting a third label on the items going in right now. I'm putting a 2D. That was the Ring doorbell on my phone.
Every time a bell rings.
Yep, an angel has wings. There you go. I mowed the grass and helped an angel get their wings this morning. That's triple tasking right there.
That is certainly something else. That's for sure.
Yeah. So Brian says it's a process when you commute to work, you miss it. But it's so it's not settled. The dust is not settled on that. There's some issues. Amazon likes to, eBay just throws stuff against the wall and all hell breaks. Amazon likes to think they've got it 80% working and maybe 20% they'll figure it out. Is generally what most people have said. It's the send to Amazon is not perfect right a second. So it affected some quantities as well. Like one last night, I got the wings last night, and I told the guys, I'm like, I only had one of this DVD, and I shipped it yesterday, and now here it is again today. I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to cancel it or do whatever. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at my phone again because it showed up for a sale, and there was a big yellow marker on it that said, "Please cancel." I'm like, yes. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you win. So Azure Blue. Sorry, I'm now running the blower right now. It's the negative people in your life. That's part of your environment. Really understand what your it bleeds into you. You can't help it. I was a miserable person running restaurants because it was high stress. You were always dealing with problems. Running a district was even worse because now I had 7 to 8 stores and I had hundreds of people that were under me, and a glorified social worker, and I was not trained to be a social worker. And that's one of the things. People are like, Beard, you could have built a big business. You need employees. You need this. I had employees for 27 years. I don't need employees. I need to figure out what's best, what my lifestyle looks like, how I want to build the business, how it fits my life, how I need to get back to using FBA. I've sent FBA in this week. That was my way of emptying part of the trailer because the store it's short today, 9:30, because one of the things you can do is you know change you know change where you source. There was an estate sale. It's an hour and 10 minutes from here. It was run online by a company, and this lady, her estate, there was a lot of great stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna never use it, never do anything.
It's running away from us.
You want it? You want some lighting?
I saw that video this morning. I was like, oh my god! I went to show my wife, and she was like, no, kid. I'm like, well, assume they're individually wrapped, coming from the place. Shipped them out. It's gonna be tried. All three of them.
There were three of these, and this is what I got back.
Oh, we can eavesdrop on this conversation. I love this.
That's what I told her. I was like, you probably can't even
That's
sell
what they were, and that's what they came back with.
it. And Amazon's gonna get
Right.
it's as bad as
This
eBay.
isn't it. Isn't a very exciting conversation they're having.
People are idiots. People are idiots.
I'm glad I can entertain you.
Have a go, man.
All right, so when the long guy laughs at my TikToks, yeah. Yes. It's so you source somewhere else. So I ended up buying 34 lots. I spent, I don't know, $650. So much big and small stuff. Remember, a lot of this stuff I would not have bought before because without the local auction. So I got a love seat and a chair and an ottoman for $1. I got a coffee table for $6. I got a TV entertainment stand for $8. There were 4 or 5 lots that were $50 or $60, but there were just as many. I bought some folding shelves and a lot of bigger stuff that last night sitting at Wings, I'm like, text the guy who runs the auction. I'm like, hey John, I got 8 or 10 large items this week. Is that okay? Sure, man, bring them on. So they're going to go in the trailer today, and then the trailer will go Monday to the auction, and it'll be gone.
Never even have to unload it.
I'm going to load
just the one time, obviously.
Actually, I have an employee going in with me today to help me with all this.
Very nice.
So this is how funny I am. Run into Jacob yesterday because I'll go days I don't even see him. I'm like, what you doing tomorrow? He just bust out laughing. I'm like, all right, good. We're going to Tennessee. I bought a bunch of shit. You got to help me load. So Jacob's going to go with me, help me load this stuff. But change where you source, change what you source, change what you sell. But if you're not in a great frame of mind to, if you're too tired to do any of the research, if your personal engine is not ready to do the research and that kind of stuff, notice trends. If I've talked about selling used stuff and selling that kind of stuff. How much Easter candy have you bought to resell? None.
0.
I haven't bought any.
None.
It's because the time is better. By the time I go running around, or I can sit in front of the computer and I hang out with a bunch of guys and they laugh and carry on what I'm buying, and I'm yelling at people for outbidding me, and in a couple hours I have 34 lots. It's going to take the full truck and trailer to get it home. That's a lot of stuff to deal with, and that's a lot of resale value. This lady had a lot of brand new stuff. I mean, a ton of new stuff. There's the nice thing about an online auction is you got a whole week to look stuff up. There's a toy lot that I bought, a toy cleanout closet, and it was a bunch of board games. And most people look at it. I think I ended up having to pay $22 for the board games. There's like 20 board games. But in the middle of one of them is in its box. It says it's Talking Scrabble.
I thought I was talking bingo.
Oh, Talking Bingo. I'm sorry, Talking Bingo. I've never seen Talking Bingo. I don't know anything about Talking Bingo. I know how to type in Talking Bingo on eBay and go, holy shit, Talking Bingo in its box is worth $125.
It's very, very nice to find. I've sold 3 or 4 of those. Yeah,
it's Talking Bingo. I've never seen it before, but it's at an auction. Okay, so there is an exercise thing, something that I learned from Harlan, hanging out with Harlan at yard sales, and he's bought them a couple times. I'm like, well, damn, there's one in this auction. Ended up buying it for $17. It sells for $110 plus a scale and something else in the lot. The bunch of books. I mean, there are lots of books that were like 40 or 50 and religious books and stuff and Bibles and stuff. Did I look at the books or $3? I'll take the whole fucking box. I'll deal with it.
Religious books. You're gonna take a gamble on those because a lot of those have really high value.
9 lots of books. Just there was some stuff in there that was really nice. If you know the brand Staub, Staub, they make really nice cast iron things. There was a Cotet, somebody else. It's a Cottet. I don't know how it's spelled. It's worth $323 on Amazon, but it went for $125. I just didn't want to spend that kind of money on it. But it's I got it. I mean, just an absolute. It was like the clean out of the bathroom, all the bathroom chemicals. You start looking at it and going, well, is there any? It was like I paid $12.50 for that. There's 4 packs of the wipes, the Mr. Clean wipes, the dry erase wipes. How much is a box of them things? And then you've got everything else. You get the shelves, you get everything in there. You got everything's that come out of this house. I bought one. It was just it was the laundry room or something clean out. Because I have bought a bunch of stuff at Rite Aid. There was, remember Dry-El? It's still around.
Oh, yeah.
There were 11 boxes of unopened Dry-El in one lot. Start looking up how much Dry-El is worth right now. It had a Kmart price sticker on the front of it, for God's sake.
Did they stop making Dry-El, or?
I don't know if they did or not, but
because I've sold it in the past, but I don't remember if it was a discontinued thing.
There are certain ones. What are some of those stuff? And so in one of the other closets, it was like all the stuff, like it was like mops and like there was a brand new orange glow mopping system in its box. You look up it on eBay and go, that's a $50 bill. Do I want to spend $12 and get everything else with it? So there was a lot of that. A lot of the lots that I bought, you identify one thing that's worth a really good amount of money and go, everything else is just gravy because I'm making money on the one item. Everything else is, like that exercise thing. At 110 that I paid $17.50, something like that for it. Is one of those, the scale that's with it is one of those, that talks to your phone and all that stuff. They're a $20 or $30 scale. Whether it goes to the auction or whether I send it to eBay, it's so find different places to source, different things to source. I'm telling you right now, as the economy gets worse, and it is getting worse, used items are going to be amazing. They've always been good, and they're really good now. But the more stuff dries up, I'm telling you right now, and it's something you don't expect. Look at what's been run out here and there, and you go, why the hell does that run out? It's just strange. So you can change what you do, what you look at, how you operate. How do you increase sales? Is the answer to relist every 10 days like Dusty did? There's some value in that. Is there some answers to making sure you reset? Ask John. He resets his promotional offers or the promos twice a day, every day on eBay. Dusty did it once a day. There's lots of systems that you can take advantage of that you need to learn. But if you can't take care of yourself, you can never get to the next parts. You're the most important part. And your knowledge, give yourself some credit. People will look at you and go, oh, you just sell on eBay, you just sell on it. The sheer amount of knowledge and skill and ability that you possess is tremendous. And it's not just we like to say Idaho Hillbilly, he's just a junker. but the man, the knowledge it takes to know values and to understand systems, and you know, he communicates very well online, and you know, it's it's absolutely a tremendous skill and knowledge. Lag for most at 27%. You're gonna get rid of that Bud Light eventually. But that Bud Light's a great thing to talk about. You know, whatever you, it's the thing that is so scary is that is the number one beer in the country, and it takes one person to
Not now.
it takes one person to crash years and years and years of work and goodwill, and you treat that's why when I talk about returns, I don't ever pay attention to returns. I make TikToks of them and whatever, but don't let them bother you too much, because if you treat everyone negatively and hatefully, uh, eventually that comes back, because if you're nasty to people who have trusted you to buy something and they've had an issue and they need to be taken care of, how do you treat everybody else in your life? How do you treat people who are just trying to get a question answered? Oh my God, they asked me a question about an item. I hope to God they don't buy it. Well, that question can save you a return. Think about it positively. Think about it the way. um,
If you think that question is going to cause you a return, answer it in a way that will make them not want to buy it. I've done that. Trust me.
So the page picker on eBay, you can check and see where your traffic comes from. So John never moves his, because he never relists or anything, because his are so entrenched. He sells the same thing over and over. But I would tell you, if you sell a lot of one-offs and that kind of stuff, the Google search is not going to do you a tremendous amount. It's Google searches and Google traffic is going to be, if you've got say you've got 72 or 75 cases of this shit.
That would be a great reason to want to show up in Google right there.
When I mess around, these are in their own little thing, because when I restart stuff, I don't want to mess with these, because I have so many of them and they're all the same, and I want the traffic to come with this one's a return. They actually folded it up nicely, but they didn't put the cardboard back in. That's why it's so wimpy. But I would still sell it on eBay. I'm still gonna sell it on eBay. But yeah. So if you've got a bunch of one item or the same type of items, by all means, let that stay out. But if you don't have quantity and it's just a one-off item, and your benefit is to restarting that, because you get the newly listed bump, and throw in the newly promoted bump, and the activity on your account that continues to go, that you usually get a little juice from that too. So it's just significantly different on a lot of one-off items. And this, I'm just happy. There was so people don't know their size. I sent out a 2X. I've been selling a bunch of the 2XLs. I'm getting one back this week because somebody said it was too small. 2X was too small. And you tell me about they don't know the size of their own ass. 2X was too small. Just think about that now. 2X was too small. And this is made to shrink up and hold stuff in. How much can you imagine that fabric and what kind of pressure that fabric was under? Damn. Like that wasn't you. Any item that goes anywhere near Philadelphia, I write the name and address down and put it in a file to track you down. But somebody yesterday bought 5 of the 3Xs. Outstanding.
That's winning.
Because they're $8.46. When you buy 5 of them, I think I've got to ship them. Actually, they're going to go over £1 at 5. I think 4 is the limit, but still $7 to $9 shipping.
Throw one of those paper mailers.
They'll go. So that's another one you got to know how to ship. They'll either go in in eBay, one of my eBay, just the poly mailers, or if that's expensive, like it's going somewhere crazy, they will fit in a padded mailer. So
Well, the paper mailer is almost as big as the padded mailer, and you can get it in there. I bet you, and it's cheaper by almost $1, I think.
diamond maker pressure. But yeah, so I'm glad they ordered 5. I wish everybody would order 5. That's why. So that's. Do you know the systems? Why did the lady order 5? I put everything on sale for 2 weeks at 12% off. So it went from $9.99 to 8 to whatever that is, 12% off of that. And then in multiples, anything 3 or more, I think I give them like 20% off or whatever. And so
every time somebody types in panties in the chat, it comes up as a hidden comment. I have to approve them all. Just letting you know. Or disprove them all.
You know, but Beard, you gave away 12%, and you gave away another 20. What if it was promoted? I've got 50 cents in these items. I want them to. You make more money when they buy multiples. I want to encourage them to buy multiples because the shipping, first class shipping on 4 ounces is still $4.25 ish. How much? Just think about that. If it's a $10 item and your shipping is $4.25, and if you've got 2 of them, your shipping is still going to be the same. You just save $4.25. Can you give them, a discount of $1 or $1.50 to get them to buy 2?
I see people are pushing the envelope over here with me.
So, are you using the system? That's one of the things that is
that multi quantity discount is huge because it encourages people to buy more. And if you have more promotions on top of that with your promoted listing, and you do all the newly promoted or newly reset your stuff, you can make a lot of sales.
So this is under the how. Remember, we're doing the you, the what, the where, the how. The how is how are you gonna, it's how do you think enough about the items you have? DePage Pico is a great question to lead us into this. Do you think through an item, or is it just, well, I looked up the completed, it says it sold for $72, and so I listed it for $72. Okay, but there's 10 of them on there, and everybody's at 72. I'm not gonna give eBay any more money. I don't want to promote them. How come it hasn't sold? 3 or 4 other people have sold theirs before mine. They sold it through promoted listings. They gave them a couple of dollars, and they're gone, and you're still sitting there with that same item. Do you understand the systems? I was there, folks. Whenever they first rolled out that, I'm like, man, this is the world's biggest money grab. Their promoted listings is pay per click on Amazon, and they are trying to make more money.
But you still jumped on it, didn't you? I did.
Because nobody, if you ain't first, you're last.
That's right. So what? They get a few extra cents.
I loved it when Dusty used to say, he would tell you, I spent this much on promoted this month, but I got this much in sales. How many want to spend this to get that? And everybody go, oh my God, that's exactly what I want to do. So the water you're selling is your products. Do you learn new products? Do you learn, or do you get pick better in your own, if you're in your niche, do you spend the time researching your niche, getting better in it? At the end of the day, we sell widgets. Which widgets are in demand? Do you look at it and see, oh my God, look at what it sold for, and make the purchase based on that? Or do you look at it and go, do you hit the completed or do you hit the sold? I always hit the completed. What if that's the one that sold and there's like 10 others that have stopped? I like to see the ones that there'll be like 1 or 2 of an item, and you can see when you hit completed, you'll see that one item before it sold, it redid, like it's listed like 7 times in a row of not sold, not sold, not sold. So that means, do I need to tie my sourcing budget up in an item that this product, this guy has the same item, and it I've seen 7, 8, 9 times on the completeds. You look at it and see, oh man, it's sold. It's sold. How many times did it not sell? Why do you think it's been harder to source? It's not any harder to source, Mark.
Sourcing is fluid. It changes over time. It doesn't need to be harder.
Everything changes. That's that's another part of what you buy. Do you change with can you combine the you and the what and realize that sometimes introspect or retrospect quits buying Polaroid cameras, and they're harder to sell unless the one company's buying the majority of them. Do you realize that everybody and their brother is selling Levi's jeans, and what was good 5, 8 years ago, the value has there's also, look at all the specialty clothes and all the specialty jeans and all those kind of things. The competition in the jeans market from all the smaller brands. The market changes, the platforms change, the market changes, and so if the sources are going to change, and not only does the market change, but the retailers change. If you're dealing with, oh my God, Goodwill's raised all their prices, Goodwill's selling online, oh my God, how many times you heard that?
Too many to count.
Look at Walmart's a great example. Walmart has taken more of a national approach to dealing with their clearance, so they don't have those stores in the middle of nowhere. They're just full of stuff that they can't get rid of because, we always like to think the shelf space on a Walmart is valuable, super valuable, and it is. And nobody stops to think, well, what about they've only got limited storage in the back too. The stuff that they've got in the back to make room for what sells and what moves through their store. There's a huge value to that as well, and we don't really talk about that. So you got to so they figure out they took the Target model, which is more of a Target does more of a national, Walmart does more of a regional clearance, but it's still a lot more taking it out of the store manager's hands. So sourcing changes. It's not harder. It's just different. Look at auctions. Look at auctions. Where did I buy stuff?
Be right back.
It was an online estate sale. Online estate sales have only been around 5, 8, 10 years max. 8 years ago, if you didn't show up in person to buy the estate sale stuff or go to an estate sale, just think about the auction scene in general. How many of the auctions are online? Is the auction merchandise still there? Absolutely, it's still there. It's just at a different place to buy it. Mark, you got to realize that people, because used items are in demand and there's a little more value to them, people understand the value of some items. But depends on where you're at, because the one thing I can tell you, Harlan will be in the chat, he'll chime in any second. Man, we were praising the fact that we got some yard sales in the last couple of weeks, because we've been buying stuff at thrift stores and estate sales last day and other stuff, and just the price difference from those to yard sales, you don't understand how cheap prices at yard sales are until you source other places. Now, a lot of it too is marked where you source. Certain neighborhoods. So we have found, and we actually talked about this Friday or Saturday. We were talking that the neighborhoods, the people, when you get into the nicer neighborhoods, they tend to be the ones who will print out you an eBay ticket. They understand how much they pay for an item, so they generally want more for it. For the most part, there are some people in the nicer neighborhoods that just want it gone and don't want to go through, don't want to have to take it and donate it somewhere, so they'll just throw it in the driveway. But it seems the more lower middle class to a little bit lower, the prices are way better. They're smaller houses. They need to get rid of stuff. Generally, the yard sales that they have a lot of kids. Uh, these people are overwhelmed with stuff. So
We have a yearly subdivision sale. It's called Whitehall Village. It's a big subdivision, but it's all the really, doctors, lawyers, fancy houses. I almost never get anything there because the prices are crazy high. There's a few. You get a few things in there. DVDs. It's good to source DVDs in a place like that because nobody values DVDs. But other than that,
yeah,
I'd rather stick to the non-subdivision sales, and stuff like that, or the subdivision sales that are in maybe a more middle class area.
yeah. Take the time to look at it. Yeah, if you've taken it, looked it up, you're only a couple button pushes and a couple pictures away from having to listen. But then you've got to ship it and all the rest of that stuff. Understand, selling on eBay is, getting an item shipped and sold, and the time and dealing with it all. It's way more than most people want to deal with. I would argue that it's way more than a lot of resellers want to deal with, and that's why they struggle with it.
Mm-hmm. Everybody just wants to throw it on eBay and hope for the best with little or no. Not everybody, obviously. The people in our chat are smart people. They've been here long enough.
So generally, if it's an item that I really want, and I can think, maybe you make an offer on it, just think about that. If they have the eBay pictures and that kind of stuff, and just ask them, about make an offer on it, and if they say something, are you going to give me a 30-day warranty? No return, no, I can return for any reason, all that stuff. There's a value to eBay that most people don't consider whenever they're doing that kind of stuff, because they're not eBay sellers. They don't realize that, you can just send something back. You can lie and send it back. Like I have a printer that came back, and the reason it came back, stopped printing. I plugged it in, opened up the Dymo app and printed the label. Well, the first label went to the other Dymo, and then once I changed Dymo printer to the new one, it prints right out. They just lied to return it, so they didn't get their shipping back.
It's another program that eBay has that allows you to do things differently. The free returns program. Do it.
So I've actually changed the way that I'm really seeing the free shipping part. You do get a little bit of a bump, so-called, for free shipping on items, but there has been a rise in returns. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that everything's hunky dory in the return world. Right now, I've gotten more returns than normal, and it's happened for a couple of 3 months now. And so so what do? Do you continue? Oh my God, I'm not going to offer returns anymore. No, I'm just going to take the free shipping away. And so each item,
yeah.
If you want to return it, you got some skin in the game. Most times they return it, they won't know they've got skin in the game until remember, it says free returns. It doesn't say free shipping to them. They pay the shipping to them. And if it's my fault, they get their shipping back. If I've done something wrong, and every now and then I do something wrong, I honor that, and just because I believe in most of the time doing it the right way. Every now and then I'll do it the wrong way, but I try if I can help it. If I'm not being pushed against the system of a platform, if it's my fault, I will apologize, send it back. I'll get you 100% of my money back. Mark, so that's a great lesson, Mark. The one thing I would tell you is, I would not have sold a Sony DVD recorder without a remote. Can you sell it? There's no problem. You can sell it, and you can list it on there. Hey, no remote. But I understand Amazon customers, and they want it to work out of the box. They don't want to have to go buy a remote. They don't want to have to look for cables, and they want it. they're expecting it to be, if I know I'm buying used, but it should have the same stuff it had, maybe not the manual, but everything else. And so that's why I try to send them with cables, with remotes. On eBay, that's a fair game. On Amazon,
Mark, they may not have lied. The functionality is different when you don't have the remote. So to them, maybe they couldn't even record something because they didn't, or they couldn't save the recording or whatever. I know that happens.
That's a wonderful point. Look at any Blu-ray player. The Blu-ray remotes are smaller, but there's all kinds of functions. You don't get any of that functionality by, you get like play and eject and stop. I think that's about it on the top of them for the most part. You don't get anything else with it. And it's very hard. A lot of Samsung DVD player or Blu-ray players, you can't, it won't even let you select play. It'll get you to the screen, but you can't select the feature or any of the other things without the remote. You need the remote that
a lot of times also
you need a remote at the button so you can move around the screen.
Right. And I know a lot of the DVD recorders, you cannot finalize that recording, like the VCR DVD recorder, without that remote. You can't do it. And that could be part of but Mark, maybe something happened in shipping. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why people return. Now, I'm not saying the customer's right.
Mark, let us know what happens. The one thing I can tell you is that with dealing with Sony, it's gonna be defective, and I can tell you, because a Sony, if you put a tape in a Sony, especially a VHS, any of the VHS, and it doesn't work, the Sony powers off immediately. That is one of the things about a Sony, is when it stops working, it powers down immediately. Not all of them do that, but almost every Sony does that. So I can almost tell you.
Mark, you don't have to order a $30 remote. Get a compatible aftermarket remote. That's what I do. Now, if you're selling that on Amazon, though, make sure you state that it's an aftermarket remote.
But they really care about the functionality.
Yeah.
I've sold quite a few Samsung Blu-ray players with a aftermarket remote, because other than not saying the word Samsung, they look just like, I think I've got one right here.
Yeah, they're almost usually identical.
So here's one here. So there's the generic one. See, it's all the same color, same letters. The only thing it doesn't say Samsung on the bottom. But look at that. I mean, look at them. These are not the exact same model, but you can get the gist of it. They are very, very similar. It's hard to tell that they've got the same number on the bottom of them and everything. It just doesn't say the word Samsung on it.
The biggest difference is going to be your build quality on those things, but even then, it's just a remote. It should be okay. And remotes have a very low failure rate unless you get battery corrosion.
That's generally the only thing that kills a remote is battery. Yeah. And go look online. It's easy to use your phone camera to see the infrared on it. You can watch videos on how to test remotes. It's easy.
I think I did a video on that.
So check Steve's channel out.
Oh. I also did a video way back when I first started on that Talking Bingo. There's a couple of videos on my channel about Talking Bingo. It was one of the, I listened to a lot of people online back in those days, but somebody said something about handheld games. I can tell you who it was. It was Casey. And so I started looking for those sorts of things, your Radicas, your Excaliburs. And he never mentioned that particular one, but it was an Excalibur. And I said, oh, I'll look this up. And man, was I amazed. So one of my very first videos was about that. And I look for those. They're hard to, because they're small, hard to spot, but boy, is it nice when you find one.
Yeah, I've tried to figure out how to. So, with the pickup today and 34 lots, and they've got time select slots to be in. I don't know. I'm not gonna have a lot of time. I'll try to take some pictures and that kind of stuff. But I'll do some video on when I get home of everything, all these lots that are in these, and how much of the stuff. It's gonna be trying to figure out how to document this one, because I bought a lot of crazy stuff.
I have one more thing about remotes, and I know you do it, but I don't know if everybody does. At yard sales, they're a quarter. Pick them up. If they have a brand name on them, buy them. Just throw them in a box. When you get the item, when you get an item that doesn't have a remote, test your remotes with it. Find a remote that works, and that saves you even more money uh, in the long run. Even though you spent the quarter up front, you're saving 20, sometimes $30 for a remote later.
I got this wild and crazy idea. You can sell remotes.
You can also sell. Some I do. If they're above $10 or $15, I'll probably list them.
But just think
But
about how much does it take to list this thing here. The Samsung was our dime a dozen. This is not a great example, but it's still, to be an original Samsung, it's probably $8 to $10. Let's look it up.
I
can't.
I take a picture of the front, the back, and the battery compartment, and if there's any worn numbers or something, I'll do a close up on them. That's it. They're
Sorry,
easy.
I can't read it. Sorry. eBay. eBay. You can sell remotes on Amazon too. It's crazy.
I haven't done that yet, but
But the one thing about Amazon, there's a lot of generics. All right, so you start typing a number, it comes right up. Brand new, $12.99. And then somebody else goes, I'll do brand new, $6.27.
I ignore the lows. I ignore the super highs, and I go the average in the middle.
So this person here, so this is crazy. New OEM original Samsung remote control for whatever. They've got two pictures. One, and then the next one they're showing you with all the buttons lit up. But the one that the buttons are lit up, the picture is either so bad that it doesn't show Samsung, or they're using a non-Samsung remote in the same picture.
It sounds awful lazy to me.
So let's see how many. Let's hit completed.
I mean, what's a remote weigh? A general, like that remote in your hands, probably without batteries, probably under 6 ounces.
So it looks like $6.99 is what you can get for you just use remote. $6.99.
That one would go in my remote box, and I'd wait till I found an appliance to work with it.
Oh no, this goes to a Samsung TV. I know exactly what it goes to. I would definitely keep it. That's why it's still hanging out. But there you go, $8.99. If you paid a quarter for it, 50 cents, even $1. I mean, there's still. It takes no time to test and list these things.
I've even put universal on eBay, never on Amazon. Universal remotes with simple VHS players or something like that, and then I give them the remote codes too, so that they know that if the remote ever loses the code, they'll have the code. But yeah, there's ways to up the value a little bit all the time.
I'm sitting here, and all three of them just gave me the same reminder at one time.
We were at that funeral yesterday, but we were outside, or we were at the dinner, and my wife's phone rang and her watch rang, and it's all this. Her sister, who doesn't do technology very well, was.
All right, we got 30 minutes. The where. So he was in. He stopped by Sunday. Storage auction fire. For those of you who don't follow Mike, Mike's a good dude. I met him in person. I like Mike a lot. Hey, and what's he doing right now? Where do you sell stuff? He's got so much stuff from buying storage auctions. He decided, you know what? I'm gonna give Whatnot a try. You move through. The one thing you know about Whatnot is things are gonna sell. And when you've got little to no money and everything, because everything, if you've got, you're getting hundreds and hundreds of items in a storage locker. So when you divide that out over, so there's not a ton of risk for him to. He is absolutely killing on Whatnot. So there's, where are you going to sell it? We always talk about, everybody's answer is to cross list. Maybe the answer is a new platform that doesn't cross list. It's a, okay, so I'll give you, he started out with a big following, and so it made it a little easier. But if you're consistently on Whatnot and you're putting up items that people want, you will get followers. I mean, you will build a following. It's when you first start out, are you going to make a killing? And that's what everybody expects. Oh my God, I did 2 shows and I barely broke even, and they quit. You went from nothing, and you're trying. Well, I sold DVDs. That's one of the more crowded areas on there. I sold sports cards. You go right to the crowded market because everybody's selling them, and you go twice and go, man, Whatnot sucks. Whatnot sucks. I can't believe it. I couldn't sell nothing there. They suck. You've got to build. It's a different platform. You've got to build a following. You've got to build some consistency and understand that it's going to take a little bit of investment to get it rolling.
I mean, the first time you listed on eBay, it probably didn't sell very quickly either, or Amazon or whatever. I mean, the learning process is going to be different. Now, I don't care for Whatnot because I don't want to do live auctions, but others of you are really good at it.
Look at me. I like estate sales. I found one online and ended up buying a ton of stuff. Where we always think about where to sell. Yeah, it's also where to buy. Are you thinking these things through? When I'm looking at that online, I've got all week to look at all these items, and there was 300 lots. I looked at it and I bought things to sell on 3 platforms: eBay, Amazon, and the local auction. All of them are covered. It's a tremendous advantage whenever how are you going to move stuff? The more ways you can move stuff.
I saw somebody earlier in the chat, Facebook Marketplace. They said that their relative just sells on Facebook Marketplace, makes a killing. If that works for you, do it. I don't list a lot there, but I do it locally. I like to sell locally on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, lag.
I don't even.
What's the show over in the mornings? What do you do for entertainment?
I don't want to know.
Larry, what's up, man? I woke up this morning at 5:30 and I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, I think I said Larry had a show. Larry is live and happy at 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, what in the holy fuck have I walked into? He's doing jumping jacks at 5:30 in the morning. I'm like,
oh hell no.
I'm like, I can barely read the screen, much less type anything. So if you're bored in the morning, Larry has a very, very early show. But the other Larry, Mr. Sadie, it's everybody can have these different avenues. It's we have once a month we meet with some other resellers on Tuesday nights instead of just the regular wing night, and there's a couple there that sells a lot of. They buy truckloads of stuff. They have a warehouse on the other end of town, and they buy a lot of Target merchandise and that kind of stuff. A lot of kids stuff. Bless his heart. He's older than me with a 1-year-old. Bless his heart. And so they were looking, and they were asking me about Whatnot, because when I first met them, I had done a few Whatnot auctions, and I was telling them about it. So they tried it and didn't have a ton of luck with it. They sold some stuff, but and it was a good way for them to move merchandise. Understand when you buy by the truckload, sometimes you just need to move stuff. Sometimes it's about covering cost, because the more the cost you can cover, you make more money on everything else. I know it's hard for some people to understand that if you've got 10 items and you paid $1 a piece for them, if you get your dollar back on 3 of them, it makes it easier to make profit on the other 7. It just I thought that was common sense, but so their biggest market is Poshmark. She's very good on Poshmark. That's their biggest. She sold a bunch on eBay, but mainly they're Poshmark sellers. And what was she excited about? Oh my God, Poshmark Lives. She's freaking killing Poshmark Lives. She recognized that her best platform all of a sudden offers the same thing or very close to what Whatnot was offering, and she already had people in her closets and all that shit. I don't know as much about Poshmark as I probably should, but she was already very strong and very well versed and very followed and had great sales over there. So guess what happened when she went live? She
Made some money.
She sells a bunch of shit on Poshmark Live. So it's, where do you sell it? Where do you buy it? Where do you sell it? These are it doesn't have to be, that's, she gonna sit back and I'm not gonna go through all the trouble to have an auction. I don't want to be on I don't want to be online or whatever. She recognized, she's been reselling for a long time. She recognized the opportunity that just fell in her lap, and she was an early adopter. Like, you know what, I'm going for this. Imagine, you notice how many of the people, we talked about just a second with promoted listings, the people who are early adopters on new things, who were the ones that are strong on Whatnot, some of the early people who've been on it and decided, you know what, I'm going to make Whatnot work. I see the people who put the time in and learned it and understand it, love it and make a killing, and and they enjoy the talking to people, and you can learn to talk to people.
Yep.
Hell, I learned to talk to lag. What the hell?
Yeah. Hell, I'm on this show. I've learned.
Not
that I'm very good at it, but
I have to talk to Lag and Connie.
Yeah.
Tim, you are correct. What do I do with stuff that doesn't sell? That's a good one, Tom. So I have the tables, and on one end I have one set of those plastic shelves that I took down there. I just start building a lot. Every time something doesn't sell, I make it like a whole shelf until that damn thing sells. I don't care. Everything that doesn't sell, I just pile up there and make it as one lot the next week. All right, Tom. I will do more videos about the auction. It is it's because you buy stuff from everywhere and lots of stuff. I'll take Amazon returns. I'll take yard sale stuff, pick up stuff at the state sales. They go up there in thrift stores. Sourcing all of it gets up there, but I can take video of the stuff I've got up there, and just hard to make a cohesive video of that process. Tom hates to talk to people. That's right.
I'm not a big fan of it, but turning on a camera and getting on YouTube will help a lot of people. And now that I have to do the food deliveries, I got to talk to people all day long. That kind of sucks, but it's actually helping me in other aspects of life, be more comfortable in public situations.
So here's an interesting thought. I talked that I'm gonna have to have today with my current helper who's going with me today, is the things that you find difficult and struggle to do, but go ahead and do them anyway, are some of the most rewarding things you ever do in life. It's where you have a lot of your biggest successes, is when you step out of your comfort zone and really, and I struggle with a lot of the same thing he struggled. He's a little more shy than I ever was, but I don't know. It's been a long time. I can't remember that far back. We're talking decades now, but it's understanding that if you can push yourself past your comfort zone, that is where the magic happens. I'm telling you, if you have an idea and you put yourself out there and you believe in it and are passionate about it and you've thought your way through it, I'm telling you, success, success, success follows the bold, folks. It's not, it's the weak, the timid, the shy. Um, success, the bold, the successful. It just, I'm struggling to exactly put the right kind of words, but you understand what I'm saying. It's you got to get a point in your life where you think you understand that I have to. It just you just got to do it. Do a live ride along.
I can't do a live ride along because I have to use the phone. Right. Well, I can't broadcast live without my phone, and I have to use the phone, and I don't have a second phone. So yeah. My wife just got into Walmart Spark too. So right now she's got DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Walmart Spark. We tried Walmart Spark for the first time yesterday. Had one little screw up, but she did all right with it. She might even be doing that today. I don't know what she's out doing something. I will do some more videos on the DoorDash stuff, but right now I'm not comfortable with that yet because I've only done 550 deliveries. It's not like I'm an expert.
Steve has a channel. That's what a lot.
Not much of one, Mark.
Have you ever made a video? We don't know. Yeah, Schreiker, fate favors the ball. It's a true statement. I mean, do you have to be? No. Does it help? But at some point in your life, I would argue that you have to be. Yeah, you're not gonna go your entire life living in your own little comfort zone, comfort world, and not be. And that's a problem with society right now. And if you really just want to take a hammer and hit some people with it, your life is not going to be, in your comfort zone. You're never going to be, you never got to be uncomfortable. You're never going to be, oh my God, somebody offended me. Who gives a rat's ass? It's part of life. You've got to learn. It's why we're in the shape we're in right now. Nobody knows how to cope. Look at the guy. He was, unfortunately, he went to University of Alabama. He shot up the bank in Louisville. He was getting fired, didn't know how to deal with it. If you lose, how many people in the chat have lost a job? Everybody except for Silver Hair Stacker. I think he taught for like 10 years. Was it the end of the world? I'm telling you right now, and we don't talk enough about when one door closes, another one opens. It's the truth. It is a chance. If people they see this the end of the world, but understand that's the perfect time to make a reset. Forced change is sometimes good change. And change happens no matter what. And if you don't learn to take advantage of it, you will be so much more successful. Oh my God, I can't believe Amazon or eBay's making me do this. Figure out how it works for you. Understand that change could be the spark to your next success for the next however many years.
I need to find my D button sticking on my nice Apple keyboard. I cannot get it on. You can't take these apart either.
Yeah, Mr. Sadie, same thing. I've had a lot of jobs, but the only time I have not had one is the one I made one for myself.
I agree with it. I don't consider what I do a job because it's not. I mean, I enjoy it. Some days the door dashing is a job, but for the most part, I enjoy all of it. I enjoy the reselling. We talked about this yesterday with her family. I'm like, job. Ugh.
Yeah, DePage Speaker, that's it. Since going full-time reseller, that's the truth. Damage goes to where I would be the world's worst employee. Oh my God, I'd be terrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't be very good either.
So
I never was.
So Javis, I've been fired twice. Both times led to much better opportunities.
Yeah.
See, and that is and people don't take it right. If you lose a job or get, for the most part, you're not fulfilling. Every now and then is the company's gone under, the company's shrinking. Well, I get those. But still, there's a reason. If you're an employee and you're not doing your best, you're not doing what they expect out of you. There's a reason why, and most of the time you're not happy there anyway. But you won't get off. You don't have that enough of a push to understand that you are so miserable because you are doing the wrong thing. It is not your passion. It is not what you desire. Nothing they can do for you because you even more money at some point. You go, oh my God, I can't believe I've got to be here. Be here. You become the person who talks that little guy pooping on company time. That's what you think about working.
Yeah. Well, just the idea of, once you've done this for a while, just the idea of a job sounds disgusting to you because now I got to depend on other people. I got to do what other people tell me to do. I don't want to do that shit.
I mean, there are people out there, Harlan's got a great job. There are people that have jobs and love them. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is awesome. But they are satisfied and content and happy. They are not miserable and
there are definitely benefits to having a job. I'm not saying
soul sucking kind of situation.
All right. Let's see if the D button works. Nope, still hard to press. I'll have to find my electronics cleaner. It's here somewhere. There it is.
Yeah, Larry, I get it. Yeah, that's it, the page figure. I work more hours too, reselling and making videos and all the rest of this crazy. Just because I'm a much happier person. I enjoy what I do. I've watched them a little bit. Boring reseller like James. I just don't watch a ton of I don't watch a ton of resellers at all, just because. First off, if I start watching videos, I can't stop. So that's why that TV back there, I'll normally play something. He gone. We don't need Steve anyway. That's what happens when you clean the keyboard that's attached to your computer.
Oops.
He gone.
The D button is working.
So what's the outstanding thing to remember for this show?
Oh, come on, Connie.
David, the landscape guy, comes in and laughs at my TikToks and can explain to his wife why the returns were terrible. Yep, that's what I don't want you to lube up the D real good.
I'm not even responding.
I feel it's happiness is a fleeting concept, but the more you can create the life around the things that you like, it is much more pleasurable, much overall everything. You want help getting up in the mornings, and you're hitting the snooze button because you're miserable with what you do. Make some changes in your life. Make some changes in your situation. Can you do it? Not everybody can make an immediate change today or tomorrow, but if you don't start working towards it, you're never going to get there. You've got to move your way towards where you want to be and start making choices to get you.
I unconnected it, by the way. I made a good choice. All right, let's try it now.
Yeah, Brian, that low ticket items that's the Amazon stuff. Yeah, something that I don't have to take a picture. I can just say, hey, I got it. This price.
I'm not sure I could show that one, Junk Trader. Oh, that's funny. but I don't know if I can show it. I'm going to show it. That might get our channel shut down.
Nobody's gonna make any comments about why his keyboard's so sticky. What the hell?
Oh, Connie already did.
Oh, should I miss it?
Yeah. It's just the one key.
Sticky keys.
I like the Apple keyboard. I like the low profile of it, but when it gets when something goes wrong with it, there's no way to.
We should have DuPay on the show. It got a lot of great comments. You're 100% correct. If you're not working on your dreams, you're working for someone else's. And there's nothing wrong with having a job or a career that if you're happy doing that and can still keep your priorities and do what you need, that's still awesome. I'm telling you, it is. Not every way is everybody's cup of tea, but understand your part in this. Understand that if you're working for someone else, you're still their company, but you can still have a great life, and there's nothing wrong with that. You've got to figure out what you want in your life.
I almost said I'll have to pop the D off to get it to work. But this is a family show, and I did not say that.
I've not even changed the banners yet. So there's a Supply Hut. Make sure if you need boxes, there's a lot of people have been using the code. I appreciate that. At least someone's listening. Biggest thing about Supply Hut is they're already the cheapest boxes and allows you to save money on your shipping because of the lighter boxes. You become a shipping ninja if you understand how buying a box can save you money. That's sometimes they tell you that the old saying, sometimes it takes money to make money, and that is a perfect example of sometimes you need to buy shipping boxes in order to save money. The federal hogways. What?
I'm not sure what a federal hogway is, but whatever. I mean, if it makes you happy.
Brenda, do you have sticky keys on your keyboard too? All right, I got like 7 minutes left before I have to end this. Anybody else got any wonderful ideas about, it's the sales thing. It's such a complicated issue, and people just, there's so much to learn in what we do. Give yourself some credit for your knowledge. It was a group, someone bought 2 motorcycle helmets and asked them there, what should they ask for them? And they go, well, how did you buy them without knowing what the value? Well, I looked it up, and some of those helmets from that brand were selling for X dollars. So they spent, I don't know, a couple $100 or $100 a helmet or something. I'm like, helmets expire, and they have manufacturer dates on them in 5 years and that kind of stuff because of the padding. And used helmets are much harder to sell than new ones because unless there's something crazy nice. And I didn't know all that.
That was a good educational opportunity, right? Now they do. Maybe they won't make that mistake again. They'll make that mistake again.
That's an expensive mistake to make. I think they could break even. Breaking even is not. Sometimes if you make a mistake and break even, that's a huge win.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, good morning.
I've lost money and felt like I made out on some things just because I got some of it back.
So John is posted on Facebook instead of bothering us. Awesome.
Well, one of his little novels there.
Yeah, he posted a novel. Yeah.
I read the first sentence of each one and then move on. I get the gist from the first sentence. because they're long.
No problem.
It froze.
So Brian, that is a question that will probably be different from each person. And it's in order to figure out what you need to do in life. That's an important question to answer.
Now, when we're talking about motorcycle helmets, those old ones from the 70s that have stars and shit on them, those are good. I've sold a few of those for well over $100.
They're buying them for a different reason. They're not buying them because
definitely buying them for a different reason.
Because they're not new showy helmets that you know, if it's got Harley on it, people collect a lot of that stuff too. I mean,
those red, white, and blue ones from the 70s, sparkly, oh my God, those are worth money. Whew. I rarely find them, but when you do, and they don't take that long to sell either. And even just the plain colored ones, as long as they're that sparkly, the more stuff on them, the better they sell. The American flag ones are the best, but yeah, those are good to find.
Ran across a Pokemon camera at Big Lots and only one on Amazon, but 0 on eBay. You should be able to make money on it now. The question you've got to, Clint, the answer to your question lies in how much are you going to gain by holding it, and what is the time value of that money cost you? So if you can flip it now and like make double, so say you make a profit of $20 now, you know, what's the max you're going to make if you hold it for a year? 25, 28, 30? You know, so what's the cost of that 12 months you've now invested in it? You know, to make the extra $10, how many times could you have taken that $20 and bought a $20 item and bought a $20 item? You know, how many times could you flip the profit versus, well, I got $10 extra for holding it. The longer I do this, the whole model doesn't seem as shiny anymore.
There is some times, but I'm a sell it, get rid of it kind of person, you know, on things like that. Just get them gone. I didn't used to be. I'd rather. There was like items I bought to hold, and I always end up getting burned on that stuff.
So we have some shoes. I have them listed for $25.51 plus 8 shipping. They offered 20.
Sold.
So do I. And they're going to Louisiana, which is, if you're not geographically challenged, that is close enough to.
Sold. Sold.
I guess it's not going to beat. One of them did. Sold.
No, I mean,
there you go.
You didn't lose anything really. I mean, you're making a sale as opposed to holding on to something. You could counter offer, but what's the chances they're going to take that counter offer?
Hey, it's 9:30.
All right, time to go.
I've got $3 in those shoes for a yard sale. So,
yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Also, Clint, the one thing you got to realize too is, you know, people don't. Once you make that decision and decide to hold item after item, you know, what's your storage costs come. One of the worst things that can happen is if you're not an organized person. I mean, I wouldn't know who we're talking about, but some of us aren't organized as we should be. You know, your risk goes up because the item could get damaged. Walmart's a great example. Look at their clearance aisle. It looks like people go through there with hammers and just bang on everything. The longer you hold something, the more of a chances of it's not perfect anymore. If it has batteries inside of it, you know, you take a chance on the batteries being dead. Then you got to explain that it's an older item. You know, so evaluate the item too. But most of the time I say sell it. Sell it.
Can't disagree.
And Brenda says tomorrow may never come, and it's not worth sitting on. So Todd, one thing he holds to sell is silver and probably gold. silver and gold, that kind of stuff with that kind of intrinsic value. But you're talking, those are precious metals. They are not Pokemon gadgets.
Yeah, if you were a couple years ago during the pandemic, people were getting baseball cards graded, and because the market had exploded. I mean, it was high. So I sent some cards in to get graded, and said, a couple of years from now, if the market's here now, where's it going to be in a couple of years? Guess where the market is now? It is very low.
So Clint, I got one more thing for you to think about, and think about the platform you're going to sell it on, and what are they doing with price gouging? Just because in a year you think it's going to be worth it's $20 now, and you think, man, I can sell it for 60 or 70 in a year. Is the platform going to allow you, or are they going to pull some random value out of their ass and go, I got I have a DVD that was 6 cents higher than the offer that was. They suggested it. I think the DVD was like 9.11 or something, like 9.13. They suggested the range be from 7.88 to 12.30. I was at high price errored at $9. I was between their suggested range. And then I had another one that they didn't have a reference price. This is a book that has been selling for $170. They didn't have a reference price. Their range was from 0 to 10,000. It had no reference price. It had no suggested price. I quit at $70. I'm like, I'm not selling it for less than $70 when it sells for $173 on eBay. It's going to eBay. So understand what will the platform you're going to sell it on allow you to sell it for. That's my parting wisdom for you. There you go, Tactical Z. There's another one. There's going to be restrictions in your future. So that's why I say it's not as, there's a lot more to selling things if you're going to hold them. Okay, so you're a Lego collector, and there's a value of Legos when they're retired, and you've got a shelf set up to only do Legos. But I know someone here in town whose garage flooded, and he lost some Legos. So,
oh boy!
Understand things happen. All right, everyone. Hey, thanks for joining us. If you don't mind, 97 people. That's outstanding. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. This was not our normal crazy show. I think hopefully we delivered some. I'm gonna have to start writing down my thoughts about all these shows. Imagine what happens.
I think I finally got my sticky D fixed too, so we're good to go.
All right, roll tide on that answer. Steve fixes sticky D.
It was.